one thing that happens during flow is the vanishing of the ego, the self. You're still self-aware, you're still in your experience, you're still
Mm-hmm.
hearing things and perceiving, and you're having thoughts and everything, but you are not aware of your ego as the I in my existence. And so in team flow, you become one with the activity that the group is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever you're faced with something that makes you self-aware, a compliment or criticism, both make you very self-aware. And so you need to be careful of that.
Interesting. Even compliments.
Yeah. Well, if I tell you, hey, look, this was a fantastic idea. I really loved this one thing that you did back then with the game, then that person is going to, oh, this is the standard that the group wants for me, and is thinking about the self experience, but also becoming very aware of it. So if the more you can go into the activity and the actual activity points, rather
Mm-hmm.
than complimenting so you can compliment the activity, but see if you can avoid complimenting the person directly as an individual.
While you're in this state of team flow.
What? Yes, not just, but also if you want to facilitate team flow. So you want to make
Yeah.
sure that you're not making people self-aware in the sense of the I, the my identity in the group.
Mm. I've heard a lot of people say compliments are really important.
Hmm.
Um, Here you're kind of bringing them up as a barrier potentially to that state of team flow. What do you think of that?
Complement features and activities, not people.
Give me an example.
Well, if you're saying, "Hey, you rock, you made that happen over there," that's a very individualized, ego-driven compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say, "Wow, that feature is super cool. I really like the design of that specific thing," you're referring to the work and not to the person. So you're still giving the compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Or, for example, you're getting a summary of something, right? A team report or some numbers or whatever. You could be saying, "Wow, you did a really good job at this." Or you could
Mm-hmm.
say, "Oh, this is really thoroughly done. The numbers are very accurate," or this artwork is really helping the game, or something like that, right? And it's tricky
Mm-hmm.
because it's just in our nature to compliment the person directly. But if you're giving the compliment to the person based on the activity, it's not making them self-aware in that way. But you're highlighting the thing that's actually relevant to. You're highlighting the thing that you love about what that person has done.
Mm-hmm. And and you described it as essentially both through compliment and criticism, because I assume criticism follows the same rules, which
Yeah.
is we can talk about the work. We don't talk about the person. We don't say, hey, you didn't do a very good job on this. We say, I see room for improvement in this area of the work that you did.
Yeah.
Um, the that idea is the reduction of the ego in the room because ego is a barrier. Like your ego is a blocker to flow.
Yeah, and it's often also a stressor, right? Because if you're complimenting something that went right, that person is going to strive to maintain that. Because acceptance is
Mm-hmm.
something that's uniquely needed for individuals working in organizations and groups and whatever. You want to be approved with your peers and the people that you're working with. And so having personal compliments directly, right? And it's just an easy way for us to change our style of communication and not get any misunderstandings too.
Mm-hmm. That's so interesting because I've managed people and I'm pretty sure I've complimented them probably as individuals. I mean I know I've complimented people as individuals before. That lens of, hey, you're complimenting them, it's so that they feel better and that they're encouraged in their work. But there is a potential downside of that, which is they internalize that as an expectation. The compliment becomes the new bar that they have to reach. Um, and that actually drags too much of them to the forefront and prevents them from being in the free and autonomous state to the state of optimal consciousness, where they can do their best work because they're aware of the expectation. And so they have to almost put that behind them and get over it, even if it's a compliment or obviously a direct criticism, but both prevent the person from going back to the place where they can do their best work.
Yeah, think of it in this way too. Your attention. If you're paying attention to the activity that you're doing, right? You're directing your psychic energy towards something that you're creating or whatever. But once you get that compliment, the flashlight is pointing back at yourself and not the activity anymore. And automatically that will create some residue of awareness of yourself within the activity. And so your resources are just being drained slightly. It might be a small thing, but if someone is an introvert and they're very sensitive to being self-aware,
Okay.
for example, it's a hypothetical situation, right?
Yeah. No, I'm an introvert. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, if you don't want to have that flashlight be pointed at you, then if the person points it at you, their flashlight, and you're pointing your flashlight towards yourself as well, right? It's too much attention, and that can get really overwhelming. And so it's a little bit of a game of attention there, right? So you want to drive your attention as much as you can towards the thing that you want to be focusing on.
So let me see. I want to go back because you listed them out fairly quickly. I want to go back and talk about those preconditions for flow. Because I don't even remember all of them right now, but you've got them off the top of your head. I remember there was we talked about autonomy. You talked about clarity of goal,
Yeah.
like a clear purpose. Did you enjoy this episode? If you did and are looking for more conversations like this one, join the Building Better Games Discord community. It's for leaders and producers in game dev who are frustrated with solving the wrong problems and who want to share experiences and learn how to lead and build better games. Check out the show notes to join. I'll see you there.